Thank you, Suraj. Okay,
Thank you.
the topic I've chosen for this talk show is be informed about the protocols in your child's online classes. So we all must have followed the news recently. And sorry, guys, I don't have any kind of presentation because I'm going to keep it more interactive. So we all know what happened recently in the
Ma'am, could
state
you
of
just on
Tamil
your
Nadu.
camera? If you don't mind, can you own your camera, ma'am? It's not visible.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am, please.
My camera is on.
Okay, ma'am. I think some network issues, ma'am. No issues, ma'am. Please go on.
Okay. All right. Fine. So we know what happened, the recent state of Tamil Nadu. So um, there is a issue happened during an online class. When students are attending online class, a teacher just walked in with a towel wrapped around, and that create a lot of uproar in the state, and that opened a Pandora of issues. So when these institutions like the colleges and schools conduct online classes, that the government wanted to monitor how it's being conducted, and what are the roles of the parents and what kind of protocols they need to follow. So, see if you have noticed, like the last few days, because of this pandemic, the children were pulled out from mainstream education, and they were pushed into online classes, and a lot of screen time and so many hours of watching the laptops and their tabs. Many petitions were moved before the high courts and supreme courts, asking the respective state governments to regulate these timings, and telling them to issue guidelines to the education institutions on the way these classes should be conducted. But the important factor which most of these petitions overlooked is sexual exploitation of children, these vulnerable children, because teachers were blackmailing these children, because if they don't listen to these teachers, they might reduce their marks, and they might get low grades. So these kind of blackmails were put before the children, and a lot of exploitative messages were sent through WhatsApps, and a lot of personal texts were shared by the teachers. So uh, this kind of exploitative behaviors have ringed the bell, and the state, Tamil Nadu is the first state to enact certain protocols and guidelines to regulate online classes which are being conducted in the schools and universities. So we should know, as a parents, we should know like what is happening when your child is sitting for an online class. I know like all of you are sitting together with your children, and helping them out in all the exercises that the schools give as projects. But more than that, we should also be very much aware, like what this what's being interacted, what's being communicated to the children. The more these teachers communicate, the way they communicate is also should be monitored. So, for example, like the incident that happened in the recent times is a very alarming issue, uh, and we have to know, as a parent, we have to know, like if you're going to send your child to the school, what are the safety measures being taken in the schools. The protocols goes like this. So every time the online classes are being conducted, all these classes should be recorded. And if any children, any parent raise any kind of complaints, the school should have a school committee, a safety committee, which will register all these complaints, which all these complaints, after being registered, should be forwarded to the state education departments, a special complaint cell. And the complaint cell will register these complaints, and necessary actions will be taken. And also the state, every school, you parents, please insist that a separate complaint box is kept, so that all of you can go and access the complaint box, and drop your complaints in the box. So the schools are mandated to open the box periodically, review those complaints, and register in the registry. And I want not only registering, they should also forward these complaints to the state the complaint cell of the state. And also ensure that when your child is attending the class, that the other person who's taking the class comes in a proper dress code. And if you find that they are not following that, you can raise a complaint, and you can ensure that even the child is dressed up well for the online classes. And the most important thing is, when this when so we all, every day in the news we are seeing somebody is getting arrested for child molestation, sexual exploitation, and sexual abuse under POSCO Act. So the Tamil Nadu government has insisted that every school should conduct an awareness campaign for all the stakeholders involved, and put them into an orientation training, and to make them understand the provisions of POSCO Act, so that everybody complies to that, and also they are aware that if somebody violates it, then the law follows. And I'm going to just tell you the last point. Uh, when you're talking about the POSCO Act and this awareness campaign, so there should be a kind of training modules conducted by the schools, and the parents also should go and attend these training sessions, and ensure that because when I talk, say, stakeholders, it's not only teachers, management staff, or the support staff, but also the parents' involvement should be there. So it's high time that we ensure the safety of children in the school premises, because it's a very by the way things are coming out, people are taking a lot of issues every day, with all this news coming, and it's kind of scary. So the involvement of parents is very, very important. We should not just keep ourselves calm, mom, silence ourselves. Ensure that your school, the school that you send your child, has a proper parents teacher association, and have a representation in the student safety committee. Nominate 2 parents from this association into the committee, and follow all this, and ensure that all these protocols have been followed. So Tamil Nadu government is the first government in the whole of country that propagated this guidelines, mandatory guidelines. So I hope that other governments, other state governments also follow pursuit, and it all depends on the hands of the parents, because the parents should be, should go and file PL in the respective state high courts, and ask them to issue mandatory guidelines to the education institutions like schools and colleges to have this kind of committees in the school. And so this is all the details that I want to share with you guys. And if you have any questions regarding this POSCO Act, or this committees that has to be formed, you can shoot the questions.
Participants, if you have any doubts regarding, please address to the resource person. I think, ma'am, no one has some questions for you.
Okay, fine.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Sangeeta, ma'am. Yeah. Yes, sir. Ravishankar, sir, do you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions. I am just thinking, maybe shall we start the 8 o'clock presentation now?
Oh, yeah. Okay, sir. It's fine. If the speaker is ready, next is Vaibhav Ganpule. Sir, are you ready, sir?
I'm just checking whether he is there in the
call. Yeah, and Ravi sir, actually also one more thing is, since these invites actually are sent as individual events, right? Maybe people might be thinking the event actually may start only at 8 and we join.
Yeah, no, even the speaker hasn't joined actually. So we might have to then wait. So Suraj, do you have anything in the meantime talk about, or you guys were thinking to talk about Abdul Kalam's, some of the quotes?
Okay, sir.
So in case if you have, you can just talk about